Hey, it's Joe from ACBT London Motorcycle Training. Great to see you again. We're delighted you passed your test and that you are now endeavouring to increase your skill and technique in riding a motorcycle. So our Ridesafe workshop is virtually a copy of the Metropolitan Police's bike safe training day that they used to run. It was a great loss when they stopped doing it. It was the only real initiative that London's motorcyclists had to improve their safety, and we thought it was a really bad idea for the Met to stop doing it, so we decided to fill that gap. How the course works is as follows. First, you have your homework, which you're about to do. You're going to watch some videos and have a think about how this might affect your riding. The rest of it is then you're going to be meeting either one of our observers. Gordy and Sean, for example, were bike safe officers. They will follow you around, they will observe your riding, they will give you feedback, and at the end of the day you will get a document that tells you the bits that they found and where you need to improve so you can sharpen up your training further. So your homework part of the course is of looking at three very different videos, looking at exploring three different aspects of motorcycle and road safety. The first one is about hazards and warnings. You're going to see a clip which is about 3 minutes long of a motorcycle rider at about 40 miles an hour down a country lane. It was filmed in winter, so the sunlight is quite dappled and low, and deliberately so because that adds a different dimension to your riding. We all like riding in sunshine, but actually the sun can be your enemy as well. What you're going to do is you're going to look at the video and you're going to try and work out how many warnings and how many hazards there are in the short clip. So how did you do? Did you get them all? Information is key, and what you're going to learn throughout this course is how to use the information available to you. The second video is about saccadic masking. You may or may not have heard of this. If you've done your training with us, we would have told you about saccadic masking. Sadly, not very many motorists are aware of it, and really, in my view, every single person on the road should know about saccadic masking. So you're going to watch the video, and you're going to understand, hopefully by the end of it, why junctions are so dangerous.
Sorry mate, I didn't see you. Those words are often heard after a driver has pulled out in front of another road user. In most cases, the driver will have looked, but was fooled into thinking the road was clear because of the way our eyes and brain see things when we turn our heads. As we move our heads from side to side, our eyes send snapshots to our brain at intervals, in much the same way as a video camera records frames. Our brain then merges the snapshots, called fixations, into what we think is a continuous sweep. But that is an illusion. Between the fixations, there are blind spots, called saccades. If another road user happens to fall within one of these blind spots, they will not be seen. This is known as saccadic masking. The faster we move our heads, the shorter the fixations and the longer the saccades will be. So the risk of not seeing another road user increases, especially if they're a cyclist, motorcyclist or pedestrian. To overcome this, drivers need to adopt a different approach when checking if the road is clear. Instead of continuous head movement, a driver should pause for a fraction of a second to focus on at least 3 points when looking to the left and right to check close, middle and long distance. With practice, this can be achieved quickly and will overcome the normal limitations of the eyes and brain. It's also advisable to look to the left and right at least twice. If everyone put this simple advice into practice, up to a quarter of all road accidents could be avoided. This would be a major boost for road safety.
So, what do you think? Saccadic masking, terrifying stuff. Approximately 65% of collisions occur at junctions. Did you know that? Just by doing those 3 simple focus points, left, centre and right, and doing it slowly and twice, we can eliminate 25% of those collisions. Did you know that last year in London, 820 motorcyclists were killed or seriously injured? Now, when we talk about seriously injured, that means people that have had some kind of emergency response and treatment. 820 is more than 2 a day. 65% of those statistically would have been at a junction, and if they knew about saccadic masking, 25% of that 65% would be erased. So that's a lot of people, guys. I mean, I'm crap at maths, but I'm sure you can work it out on your calculator later. The final video you're going to see is how easy it is to lose focus. Riding a motorcycle is about concentration, but not dead concentration. It's about looking at the right things, and what you're going to see in this video is how easy it is to focus on the wrong thing. So enjoy the video.
To test just how much attention the attention-stealing design of the new Skoda Fabia actually steals, we left one parked on this ordinary road in West London. We wanted to see if its sharp crystalline shapes, bold lines and lower, wider profile would attract the desired level of attention. Will the 17-inch black alloy wheels stop passers-by in their tracks? Will the angular headlights attract the attention of other road users? Will a crowd gather to check out its fresh, sporty look? Well, not quite. But did the attention-stealing design distract you from noticing that the entire street has been changing right before your very eyes? Don't believe us? Have another look. Did you spot the van changing to a taxi? How about the scooter changing to a pair of bicycles? Or the lady holding a pig? Let alone the fact that the entire street is now completely different.
So what did you think? You were looking at the little blue car and you failed to notice all the other stuff going on around. Imagine that riding along. You need to look at what is important. And one of the things they're going to talk to you about on the practical element of this Ridesafe course is what you should be looking at, how far you should be looking at, and what you should be focusing on. If you've done CBT with us and other training with us, you know that we spend time discussing what you should look at, how you should focus, what you should see in your peripheral vision, and how you should be able to process that information. Okay, so now let's talk about a systematic approach to riding. What does that mean? Well, that's a posh term for riding according to a routine. Essentially what you want to do is you want to ride the bike without conscious effort, so that you can spend your time concentrating on your riding environment. That's where your danger is. What are the important things to consider? What's happening with the road? The condition of the road, the volume of traffic, the layout of the road, the weather. Before we get into that, let's mention speed. Speed is the #1 reason for a motorcycle collision in London, followed very closely, hot on the heels of that statistically, by loss of control. In the countryside, the #1 reason for a collision, leaving the carriageway, ending up in a hedge or a ditch somewhere. Basically what happens is people generally go out for a lovely weekend ride in the countryside. They don't consider the changing conditions, the road, how the surface of the road can change. You will see that in the next film clip that you're going to look at. The road basically in the countryside can go from bone dry to soaking wet within about 300 yards. So all this environment is incredibly important to your safety. So the first thing you need to consider is information. What information are we talking about? Let's think about the road. Where does it go? How do you know where it goes? How do you read the road? Okay, you will learn these things. How does the road surface affect your grip? Your position, how does that affect what you can see of the road ahead? Remember, visibility is really important. We talked about this on all our training courses, but that's not just about being seen, it's also about being able to see, isn't it? So how do we know what speed to ride at, taking all those things into account? Safe does not mean slow. Slow riding is not safe. So we need to ride at a speed that allows us to make good, safe progress. Otherwise, if we go too slowly, you know what's going to happen. Traffic's going to end up on your backside, and that's going to put you in a situation where you're going to be trying to make progress, but all you're thinking about is that vehicle behind you. So you want to get on with it, because if you do, they'll leave you alone. So to choose the correct speed, how do you do that? I guess you're now thinking, well, what's the speed limit? But actually, the speed we ride at isn't necessarily down to the speed limit. If I can do the speed limit, I'm going to get on and crack on with that. If I'm riding on a 30-mile-an-hour road, 40-mile-an-hour road, 50-mile-an-hour road, for example, I don't want to be sitting there at a much lower speed. If I've got a nice clear road ahead and I've got a 60-mile-an-hour speed limit, then I'm going to do as close to 60 as I possibly can. If I'm sitting at 60 miles an hour doing 38.5 miles an hour, I am not safe. So how do we choose the correct speed then if it's not the speed limit sign? Well, that's down to several factors. The first one is the weather. How is the weather affecting your ride? If it's nice and dry, clear, sunny, whatever, we can go a bit quicker. If the weather changes, gets darker, gets a bit more miserable, is raining, then we might want to ride a little bit safe, a little bit more slowly. What about the road surface? How's that going to affect the handling, the grip? If I've got a really good road surface, then I can get on with it and make much better progress. If, however, the road is broken up, bumpy, there's mud, especially on the countryside, you can have tractors and things leaving, well, sometimes literally crap all over the road. How is that going to affect my grip? Generally speaking, anything that ends up in between your tyre and the surface of the tarmac can act as a lubricant. That could be leaves, it could be water, it could be mud, it could be loose gravel. How is that going to affect my safety? On a good surface, I can go quicker. On a rubbish surface, I might want to ease off a little bit. Then the volume of traffic. How busy is it? Is it nice and clear, in which case let's get on with it? Or is it quite busy, in which case let's hang back, keep a safe following distance from the vehicle in front, and see what I can do in terms of progress. Can I overtake? Is it safe to overtake? Should I be overtaking? These are all decisions we need to make on the road, and that will be one of the issues that you're going to be discussing with your observer, guaranteed. Now, what about information? What information should I be considering? How does the local authority warn you about stuff? So they put a sign up, which is a big triangle with a red border, and inside there'll be a little picture. Ignore those at your peril. Okay, what they're doing there is warning you about things you need to watch out for. Ignore those. You come across a problem, now you need to do something reactive. Safe riding is not reactive riding. Proactive is completely different. You've identified the hazard, you worked out a plan on what to do about it in your head. That sounds posh. It's basically, you spot a hazard, I know what I'm going to do here, and you'd put it into action. That allows you to negotiate the hazard nice and safe. The key to that is to identify the danger in the first place. So when you're riding, look as far ahead as you possibly can. You might see the triangular sign. You won't be able to identify the picture from a distance, but as you get closer, you know it's there, and now you know what you're being warned about. Typically, a warning triangle is fixed something like 100 or 150 yards from the hazard itself. So if you think about it, you're actually being told about what you need to be concerned about. A lot of people don't look at the right things. So I see the warning triangle, I see the layout of the road, I see the direction the road is going to. Guess what I'm thinking about now? What happens next? I can see from my position up until the hazard, or up until the road disappears behind a hedge, maybe to the right, maybe to the left, or whatever. What I'm now thinking is, what happens after that point? The point where the road disappears from view is, some people call it the vanishing point. And that's really where you want to be looking, because now you're ready for something. You don't know what's going to happen at that point, but you're ready for it. If you remember your CBT training, your Module 1 and Module 2 DAS training courses that we've done, we talk about all this. So this concept should be familiar to you. So now I've chosen what I think is an appropriate speed for the road I'm riding on. I'm getting better at identifying the hazards and the dangers, where the junctions are, remember how dangerous they are, remember saccadic masking, all that kind of stuff. And now I'm thinking about, how do I put this routine into operation? Well, here's a little tip. As soon as you spot your triangle, do your mirror checks, both mirrors. Have a look at what's going on behind you. Then, if you're coming up to a junction, you're making a turn left or right or whatever, put your signal on. You might need to adjust your position. Now here, your training is going to take a slightly different format, because if you remember, we talk about position 1, 2 and 3 in an urban area, don't we? Where position 1 is slightly left of centre, position 3 right of centre, and position 2 is the dominant position in the middle of your lane. If you head out into the countryside, onto the national speed limit roads, you're probably not going to be using position 2 as much. You might be using more 1 and 3, so that you get a much wider view and an earlier reconnaissance view of what's happening further up ahead beyond that bend that's coming up. Okay, so you're positioning. If I'm changing position, sometimes I might want to consider a lifesaver. Now, I might not want to do that too often, but if I'm making a turn from a main road into a side road, I definitely want to check what's going on behind me in case somebody's decided to overtake me at the wrong moment. Remember, every time you look at your mirrors, you're creating a snapshot of what's occurring behind you. It's like a photograph. So do your mirror checks every now and again, but appropriately. When the warning triangle is identified, that's a really good time. So what you're going to look at now is a video of a ride in the country lanes in variable weather conditions, you could call it. As you watch the video, try to see the position of the bike, just to see how the bike is positioned according to what's happening ahead. If you see the triangles, you're going to see them flashing past in real time. So the warning triangle that identifies what's going on, at that point you're going to be doing your mirror check. There are speed limit signs to identify as well as we go through the villages and come out of the villages the other side. So all these pieces of information you need to process as early as you possibly can. The saying goes, look up, look far. The other thing I want you to focus on is the changing weather conditions. This is what happens typically in the countryside. You will see the road at some times is absolutely pouring with rain, other times it's bone dry, other times it's a little bit damp. There's also mud. There's varying grades of the condition of the road. You'll see the speedometer on the bike as well. So have a look at the sort of speeds that the rider is doing on this clip according to the conditions. What would you do? Would you do any different? Is it okay? Do you think it's a safe ride? Is it an aggressive ride? Have a think about all these things. And towards the end, have a look at a potential possibility of a saccadic masking incident. Anyway, enough of all that. This is just to give you a basic grounding of what a systematic approach to riding is. Your observers will explain this in a lot more detail on the day. And now, have a look at this video. So as you can see, riding a motorcycle is about a lot of other things, and actually a lot of the concepts regarding road safety are actually very simple ideas. We hope this has been of use. You will be talking with your observers about information, about positioning, about speed, the correct gear to be in, and accelerating. If by the end of the day you've got to gears, you would have done really well. Gordy and Sean will explain that a lot more. You will be using that systematic riding approach to riding on the day, and I hope you enjoy it. Any feedback you have would be greatly appreciated. So after your day, do let us know how you got on. In the videos that you've been watching, add some comments. The only people that are going to be having access to this video are you guys that are doing the Ridesafe course. So once again, thank you for investing in your riding safety and technique and skill. After you've completed your day, do consider doing some advanced riding courses. It will really sharpen you up, and the eventual aim is not for you to sort of have badges and this, that and the other, but it's about being a better rider and therefore a safer rider. We don't want you guys to be one of those 820 London motorcyclists that were killed or seriously injured. And here's another factor for you. Did you know that the #1 reason for a motorcycle collision in London is excess speed? Number two on the list is losing control. So excess speed and losing control are very closely linked. And number 3 on the list is not being seen. If you can focus and target each of those 3 in your riding, in your daily ride, you will be infinitely safer. Added to that, the knowledge you've accrued already today by doing this course and by the practical element of this course, you're going to be a much better rider long term. So once again, thank you. It's been a pleasure, and hope to see you again soon.